Hello everybody, and this is Carlos, and this is my seventh video for YouTube. So lately I've been talking about religion, aspergers, personality disorders. Some of my videos are very general because I'm not a very communicative person when I'm talking, but when I'm writing, I can express all my ideas when I'm writing. I'm way more better when I write. Um, I wanted to say that I believe as an Asperger's, I believe many people like us have deep moral values, many times uncorrectable. I mean, I don't want to generalize, I don't want to make a single rule that Asperger's people are good and are spiritual. I mean, those are misconceptions. No, everybody is spiritual. I am spiritual, I consider myself a very spiritual person. But from a perspective that I like to think about the meaning of life and get into my head and start thinking about life, society, and all the phenomena that is happening around phenomena that is happening around us, how we can provoke social change by impacting other people with our belief and our philosophies. Like I say, I'm very into Jungian psychology. Pretty much Jung talks about something called an individuation process, the fact that we are God ourselves. We have something called Imago Dei. That's one of the main bricks or pillar stones in Jungian psychology. I believe that the richness and poetic language of symbols and histories and mythology is a way that provokes the soul and have a very luminous or effect on human psyche. Uh, I believe one of the things that we as aspies are, or I am noticing, is the synchronized way of thinking of society. Like everybody thinks the same way, and we're living in a society full of excess, or like Rafael Lopez Pedraza will say, in society, a titanized society. You know what is Titans. One of his books I recommend called Cultural Anxiety by Rafael Lopez Pedraza. He talks about mythology and the Titans, the generations of gods that raised in Greek society long ago. So first there were primordial gods, then the Titans come, which are the more celestial or savage gods that didn't follow any laws. And then there is a Greek anthropomorphism. That's when gods like Zeus, Poseidon, Ares, Hera uh, came into the picture of Greek mythology. And with that, it came a new order, a new ritual, a new society, and new cultural development. So pretty much the difference between the new gods and the Titans is that the Titans were more savage. The psychology of the Titans were more related to no limits, lack of limitations, right? So that's when I say that we live in titanic societies where there is a lot of excess. There is a lot of shallow values around people, you know, and it doesn't matter if you are looking for a meaningful life, but people tend to nowadays then just tend to look for just being happy in the most shallow ways, sex, materialism, status and power. That's the main rights uh, many people has nowadays. I can say 95 of the I mean I'm going to risk myself and say that 98% of the people go that way. Maybe a 95, 90%, I don't know, but I can say that a lot of people prefer to look for their life through that way, the more shallow, common way of life. Meanwhile, many other people, including neurotypicals and a lot of aspies, we are more into a more noble way of life, looking for a more meaningful, more poetic, a more, let's say, wise uh, perspective of life. I believe we can have the power. We have the power. People like us, neurotypicals that also think that way. We have the power to, impact the masses, provoke a social change. I'm not a big follower of conspiranoid theories, but I believe there is a huge interest by certain people to shut people like us, like because they know we can make a change. I don't want to come into more conspiranoid theories, but why always those singers and artists that are praying for a change in human mentality and society always die first? And why those artists which are rappers and those artists that sing for shallow things like sex and money and beautiful cars and beautiful women are always alive? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, even though maybe they do this a lot of more drugs than those. For example, there is John Lennon. He died. We have this guy. Um, I don't remember his name, but he was the main singer of this band called The Doors. Never mind, but I believe there's people that's trying to shut that kind of mentality, because they know this system is not compatible with with that kind of mentality, a more humanistic approach of mentality. I believe. I mean, I don't consider myself a hippie, but I consider myself a person that is more aware. And like I say, people that often get rejected by the system see the flaws on the system. So I believe the system is just the most, the perfect machine for destruction, and the perfect machine for human destruction. You ask me, somebody asked me if the world was going to be end in 2012. Everybody was saying, hey, the Mayan prophecy, the world's gonna be end in 2012. I'll say that the world ended a long time ago. There's not, the spiritual values of men are shading away. In fact, because of rationalism, and in fact because of all the oppressive system we have gone through since the Roman Empire, I can say, and the rise of Catholicism. Now we have these new systems which are based on neoliberalism, capitalism, and those are systems that pretty much for me they're like the key to open the underworld of the psyche, make people act really crazy. Sometimes I feel like I wish I have $1 million, build my own house in a forest, like be away from all this bullshit, which is affecting me and is affecting other many people, in direct and indirect ways. Many I have sometimes lost hope and say, well, this never is gonna change, and in fact, probably will never gonna change because we are looking for like kind of a Garden of Eden, archetypical, perfect, utopic society. Well, I don't think that's gonna happen. It won't happen because, unfortunately, like Carl Jones say, human nature is a complex of inexorable opposites. I mean, day and night, life and death, happiness and misery, good and evil. We're not really sure who's going to win, but at the end, we cannot change that, because that's our nature. We're still having a animal side. Or even though we do the most disgusting things, we also do the most beautiful things with our minds. Uh, I believe that the people that think like me, which I have met quite few, but some of them are just scared, I'm scared sometimes. You can talk about this in front of normal people because you'll be stereotyped as a crazy person. That might be true, who knows? But I feel hopeless sometimes. I feel like every time I grab my car and drive around, because that's something I do and really give me peace, is I see a fight between good and evil in all of us. I see that we have the tendency to become evil or become good, you know? I mean, this society, if you're too good, you're too noble, you end being hurt by other people. If you're too bad, that's an issue. So everything has to be like a balance. But I'm so hopeless right now. I'm so idealistic. That's my main issue. I wish I am not. But like as Aspergers, my main advice to other Aspergers is patience. We have to know why society is like this, why we are so different. I had this friend sometimes. I was talking to him about indigo, and he said, "No, that's another word for Asperger." I said, "Well, that might be true. This new conception of indigos and stuff like that, indigo people." Well, I don't consider myself like that, but I wish there's more people coming to her like that. Uh, Sometimes I just wish that I can grab some money and just build my own house in the forest, build with hydroponics, aquaponics, all that stuff. Make solar shields, have my own library, met an Asperger like me, that thinks like me, but that's very difficult. I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, and every time I go on the street, I just see the most shallow things you can imagine. There is a smoke business in every corner. There is places where they sell alcohol in every place. Even pharmacies sell alcohol. So that's so weird for me. I come from Colombia, and you don't usually expect to find those kind of stuff in a place like you imagine how paradoxical that is, selling cigarettes and and alcohol on a pharmacy. Really, something's wrong. And now talking about that, I wanna say that talking about drug addiction, many people, many Aspergers are drug addicts. They're they're addicts to drugs, medications, video games, and pornography. Believe it or not. Yes. Why? I was watching this TED talk like a week ago, and they talk about drug addiction is not like we used to think. We have this perspective, which is a perspective everybody has, that is our inner determinants and conditionals that make us be drug addicts. Um, People say that some people have more of a, more of a addictive personality than others. And in fact, I want to say we should not call it drug addiction. We should call it bonding. Why? Because there's a lot of research suggesting to say that it's not usually the drug that make people the drug addict. It's the environment where you're living. And many of us aspies, we lack of bonds with people. We tend to get rejected a lot. And it's kind of, we just bond with something that gave us some relief in life. Myself, I'm not addicted to any drug or cigarettes or alcohol or pornography or anything. I can say I'm addicted to reading books and internet sometimes, playing video games. I can say I can be a little bit addicted to video games. So yes, I think we have inner determinants, but the most important thing after all is the outside determinants of that condition our behavior. I wish we can have more activism, people helping us, because I have seen so many people just struggling with life. I don't want to be like that, and I know many aspies don't want to be like that. Some aspies are quite brilliant and they get also degrees, but some of them have the family support and they are understood. Some of us, like me, we are not understood by other people. And some of us, even though we are really smart, we don't finish college. In my case, I am in college right now. I want to finish because I want to be a life coach, especially based on a younger perspective and help people like me. I want to make of this YouTube channel like an interconnection between all Aspergers and make like a huge channel so we can help each other. I wish we can do that. Um, like I was saying, right now, I was in school last semester. I didn't go to school this semester because I didn't have the money. I had to go to work. I was fired from my work. I mean, this work was completely perfect for me because this guy was kind of understandable with me and he was trying to help me, but he had this brother. His brother was, an ass. And his brother was telling him all the time, hey, fire him, he's weird, he's crazy, fire him. And he ain't firing me. The worst part is that his brother had schizophrenia in the past, so, you know, sometimes people is so judging and they don't see their own flaws in their personalities. I wish people have a more nice perspective on others and say, hey, I really want to help you. I really do want to help you. So I was working as an electrician. I was learning really fast, and I guess that also scared them because here in the construction life, this is a battle. It's a bunch of contractors fighting for each other, and always the best get the best contract. So they are trying pretty much to make people don't understand much. So People with that go for electricity, plumbing, and all those kind of works, they usually are not thought to be the best. They are just thought to follow orders, and that's why, because other guys, they just don't want to lose their jobs. We have survival instincts, I guess. That's something called conservation instincts, but there's no like a real tendency to help other people and say, hey, that's how I feel. I wanna help you for real. I feel that there's no such thing as altruism anymore in my life. I feel everything is only for help the others. If I help you, you help me. That's how it is. There's nothing that I can find quite positive about it. It's all about what can you give me in order that I can go help you. If you don't have nothing that I can get, well, I don't care about you. I guess that's the philosophy nowadays. There's no such thing as saying, hey, you know what? I feel what are you having, and I wish you're okay. I wanna help you. There's not anymore. So sometimes I have so much rage in my heart, so much negative emotions. Sometimes I wish that people just sometimes disappear, and the world just is made of aspis. But I believe we should start doing more activism on this, um, helping people like us. There's a lot of people that were born in the 60s, so you can imagine the hell they going through. I mean, if I feel like I have been going through hell, you can imagine how if they go through hell, because back then it was worse than now. So that's my conception. I'm living in a society full of excesses or shallow meanings with hypocrite people and don't give a shit about you. And sometimes, if you ask me, love exists? I think it doesn't exist. It's just bullshit sometimes. I wish I can find a girl just like me, just like me. I mean, not exactly like me, because that will be a really ugly girl. But I don't care if she's ugly. Pretty much I just care if she have good feelings and she's like me, and think like me. Some girl that I can say that she's not going to fail me. The last girl I have, I thought she was the perfect girl. I mean, we never. I guess we kind of date like for a month or something. We make out a few times. We kiss each other. But after all, she was just another girl. Um, she ain't hurting me a lot. I know she did something wrong things to me. Well, that's life. Shit happens. But I wish. I mean, I know I have a perspective of life. I believe that as human beings, we have the obligation to see our shadows and see our bad side and try to change it and try to find our individuation, find our true self. But this society has so many distractors. I mean, there is music, there is food, there is the last iPhone, there is the last everything, there is the last car, there is the last girl, there is the last, everything is all how you looks. I know that is based on genetics and everything, but in order to step above in evolution, we need to get rid of that. There are so many walls that we need to get rid of. And I feel that we can be heroes. I recommend you that watch the hero myth. We can be heroes right now. We can fight against this monstrous society and change this system. Not now, maybe it won't change while I am alive, or you're alive, or your grandchildren are alive, but this has to change because I don't feel this is going through a good time. I'm thinking of moving out of New Orleans and go to a little town where people can understand. Well, I don't expect people to understand me, but at least feel more in touch with nature. That's what I want. Be in touch with nature. Be in touch with society, with a society of really meaningful people and people that is looking for a really meaningful life. Not only Lil Wayne, I don't know, Kanye West, the Kardashians. I want to talk about philosophy. I want to talk about life. I want to talk about minds. I want to talk about love. That's what I would like to do. Um, there is a statue of Buddha back in my back there. So I believe all we have the potential to become a Buddha. I believe society needs improvement. We need change. I mean, I'm not saying that we need or we are going to change. Like I say, I'm not trying to contradict myself, but I wish I can be more outgoing and go and speak in a crowd, but I can't do that and say, hey, this is what needs to be changed. Let's stop this titanic level of psyche. Let's stop this. I wish that can happen, but I don't know. I don't think it will happen. Thank you. Bye. I hope to record a video very soon.